Welcome back to the show. We are happy to be having a conversation with Miss Universe winners ready to represent TNT globally. And on set with us this morning, we have Melissa John-Ramsubagh, Mrs. Universe TNT 2024. We have Sarah Inderlall, Mrs. Glamour International 2024. And we have Rehyan Francois, Mrs. Grand International TNT 2024. Ladies, thank you so much for being here with us. And Rehyan, let's start with you, please, because we heard it wasn't just one thing. Okay, you all have your sashes. So give us a little idea into the process. Thank you.
Sure. Well, the first thing that we had was the sashing ceremony. The events that we had were prejudged. So, as I said, the sashing ceremony was the first one that was judged. After that, we had forum night, where each delegate had to do a presentation on domestic violence against women and children. As you probably know, most pageants have a social cause, and that is the social cause for Mrs. Universe globally. So after the forum, we had karaoke, which was a fun evening, as you can imagine, because we are not singers in the least.
I'm not even sure I want to ask what that was like, but
fun.
Fun. Okay, yes. So we're moving with the word fun.
Yes.
But explain something to me, please, Sarah, in terms of judging criteria. One of the judging criteria was social media presence. What does that mean? What went into that?
Well, it's interesting that you asked me that, because I'm currently in marketing and I love digital marketing. I know everyone is into digital marketing, so that's a huge part of our lives right now. So of course we wanted to show the entire Trinidad and Tobago what our pageant was like and what our training process was like as well. So you could see the transformation from at the very start to the very end. So at the very end, every single woman that took part in our pageant could have seen her growth as well. So the judges was able to choose a winner based on that growth, and it wasn't just based on that final night. And also our platform was able to shine a little bit more as well.
And Melissa, let me ask you, how, in terms of that growth is one thing, but what are people around you saying in terms of saying, okay, well, we're looking at you and we're looking at you prepare. What is that process like? How are you feeling about it?
I am excited. I am honestly happy that I was chosen to represent at one of the international pageants, this not being my first pageant, of course. So it just gave me a sense of growth in that aspect where, as a woman, we all getting married, having children, we were able to go on that stage and shine again and not forget what we were. You get lost along the way, so it was a lovely experience.
And I want to ask each of you, what is the biggest difference in terms of saying, okay, well, people think sometimes that after marriage, children, growth, evolution in age and stage, that we're not able to be a part of this. What would you tell the person who has that kind of mindset? And I'll ask from Sarah to Rehyan to Melissa. Thank you.
Well, firstly, I recently got married, and I found myself being steadfast in that role as a wife, and I found myself losing that glamour and losing that sparkle in life almost. And I actually kind of reignited that love in my marriage. My husband was a huge part of our pageant, and my delegates, my colleagues, my winners could actually attest to that. And it's really nice to have that family support, and I saw that throughout the entire pageant where our families met and we bonded, and it was a beautiful experience. So it's a mesh of who you are as a person and what you're passionate about, in addition to being a wife, and some of us are mothers. So it was a beautiful experience, and I would encourage anyone who has a passion for fashion and for modeling and for all of these things to definitely come on board and try your hand at pageantry.
Now, I find it interesting that the person who won Mrs. Glamour said that she was losing her glamour. But,
yes.
But let me get your response to that, please, Rehyan.
Okay, well, in my case, I'm divorced. So having gone through marriage, children, and then divorce is a bit of a different mental space to be in. So I was definitely losing my glamour, self-confidence, and when I saw this opportunity, I decided to go to the screening. And when I got through, I was like, oh my God, maybe there's still something within me. And I used the opportunity to develop my self-confidence once again, and I feel I feel like now I have a whole sisterhood of ladies that I could depend on, call on for little things, big things, whatever it is. They've been there for me. And having gone through the process together, it means that we have something in common that we've bonded with. So our relationship is, I think it's very special.
Yes, it is.
And I would encourage anybody who is going through, any stage of life, you could still be involved in pageants. Traditionally, pageants have been for younger people, and as a woman goes through natural life changes, you kind of feel like, oh gosh, I'm old now, I can't do anything, but you definitely still can.
All right, so you said it's a sisterhood. Let me ask one of your sisters who has been involved in pageants before. What is that like for you, and what would you tell that person who said, you sure there's something you want to do now?
I will start with always follow your dreams. Don't give up, because whatever you put your mind to, you can achieve it. It will be a win, a loss, but you would have learned something along the way. And I would have met some amazing woman in this pageant. And we have left the pageant, and we are still friends, and we can still call each other, as Rehyan would have said, and Sarah would have said, that the bond we created, it's everlasting. So friendships forged along the way, and sisters, I should say. I love them all, even who are not here.
Okay, and in terms of who's not here, there is Mrs. Woman of the Universe, Diane Molino,
yes.
And she was representing Valsain. But what is next in terms of the next step in the pageant? And let me.
For me, I am we are all, I should say, preparing to go to our pageant. My pageant is on the 2nd to the 10th of October in South Korea. I'm very excited. Mm-hmm. And I would say this pageant that I would have entered among these women here prepared me for that, because this pageant we did is basically a mimic of what to expect, the exact same thing. So we would have karaoke, forum. So this pageant prepared me a lot, I should say, not a little, to get to the international stage.
To the international stage, Ms. Rehyan.
Well, mine is the last one. It takes place at the end of November. So that's the 23rd of November to the 28th of November. And it is in Myanmar, which is in Burma, I think. So I'm very excited because I've never been to that part of the world. It's going to be a whole adventure.
Okay, tell me a little bit about your upcoming adventure. Thanks, Sarah.
I think a lot of women would be jealous of my pageants because it's going to be held in Bali. And as everyone knows, Bali is like absolutely beautiful. I am really, really excited to be there. Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited to be there. It's on the 28th of October to the 4th of November. So it's 1 week. And I'm really excited. Of course, as Melissa said, this pageant was very rigorous. It was very competitive. So, of course, we all have to put our best foot forward, and we're trying our absolute best to bring home a crown this year, hopefully.
And I love, because you all have spoken about sisterhood, and I see people fixing crowns and fixing sashes. But are there any things that you all have said that, okay, we want to practice this, we want to get a little better at this for the purposes of the pageants that you'll be going to? I know sometimes we've seen people on stilts, we've seen people in different costumes. Anything that you want to share?
So each of our pageants have different aspects to it. So I think we're supposed to have a meeting this weekend to actually go into the details of each pageant and see where we could work together to develop certain skills.
Okay, and with that, we want to thank you so much, ladies, for showing possibilities and letting people know that beauty is a thing that it goes like fine wine. So we want to thank you for gracing our presence here this morning, and we are saying thank you so much to Melissa John-Ramsubagh, yes. Sarah Inderlall, and Rehyan Francois. And the Now Morning Show, it continues after this. Stay with us.
Yoga classes and groups often cultivate supportive communities where individuals can connect, share experiences, and offer mutual support. These networks serve as platforms for inspiring and empowering one another, nurturing a collective sense of strength and solidarity.